Beloved, you are welcome to another edition of Hope for the Family. In our previous lectures, we've been talking about some questions that arose in the course of our teachings. And when we started answering the question, we laid a foundation. And it reminded me about the parable of Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 7 that talks about two builders, the one who built on the rock and the one who built on the sand. The same thing is true of every family and of every home. Those who built on the sand, those who built on the rock, they are bound to experience storm. So there is no marriage without its issues, without its challenges. But the solution lies on where we are building our own home. And that's why I said Christ must be the foundation. Without Christ, no home can stand. We have said that marriage is instituted by God and He knows how to make it work. So I want to encourage us to always remember to our first message while we begin to answer the question, the need for salvation, need for thorough discipleship that will help us to develop the nature of Christ and to build our home on the correct doctrines of the Bible, which is Christ and Him crucified. Anything outside it may not augur well. So the question we are looking at today is, what are the causes of domestic violence and how do we avoid it in marital relationship? Causes of domestic violence. Domestic violence may occur in the marriage because of a number of things. But I want to emphasize the fact that domestic violence is a barbaric attitude that we must not allow in our home. So, and I discover it is a desire to dominate. If you see places where there is domestic violence, it's like one partner is trying to usurp the authority over the other. The partner wants to dominate. I am the oga in this house. You must obey me. And the woman too may dominate financially. I say, I'm the one bringing money. Though you are my head, I am better than you. I must control it. It is a fight for dominance that causes domestic violence, and we must avoid it. Abusive person want to control, want to monitor everything. So, and some have learned it, maybe right from their childhood. Maybe where they were brought up, the parents are used to boxing one another. And you remember, in the old days African culture, there are even way, like I used to say, expression of love is by beating their wife. Men feel they show their manliness by beating women. This is barbaric. It should not be allowed to happen. And whatever the situation is, we must know that God does not like it. So please avoid it. Because when there is domestic violence, the relationship becomes unsafe and healing becomes difficult. Healing becomes more difficult if the offense is repeating itself. If the person is always resorting to abusiveness and beating of the other person, it may be difficult for that wound to heal. So then the place may become unsafe. That's why we normally encourage that instead of you boxing yourself, even in the presence of children, or even causing havoc on your one another, let the other person stay out, stay away. So it may be necessary to stay away. Maybe you run to trusted family or friend to prevent further assault. Then you must understand that the trauma that is caused by domestic violence is serious. It can allow the emotional person consciously emotion of a person consciously or unconsciously. It may lead to trauma, loss of self-esteem, psychosomatic problem, etc. All these things happen in cause of domestic violence. We'll continue from there in our next episode.